Welcome to All Elite Wrestling Unrestricted, the official AEW podcast presented by Upper Deck. I got this cool hoodie. Yeah, collect the best. We've got Upper Deck logos everywhere because they're awesome and amazing. And you can collect your favorite wrestlers in 2024 Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap autograph, memorabilia, premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. Will, you're already beating me in unwrapping a bunch of stuff.
I mean, those are just cards I happen to have, but I also do have this pack. Yeah, are you kidding me? My desk has been taken over by Upper Deck.
Same. My living room
everything.
coffee table is all just Upper Deck everything.
Yeah.
I've still got a fun pack of the Black Diamond that they gave us recently, so I'm going to ASMR.
All right, yeah, and I've got a pack of the standard AEW 2024 Upper Deck cards.
Let me see. Bum, 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 bum. What is this? Oh, look at that. I got a Mr. Rocky Romero.
Oh, look at Rocky.
Azúcar.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
The fifth most powerful man in wrestling, I think we determined.
I know. I've shared many a car ride with Rocky. And we.
Right? Oh, my God.
Oh, man. I got some great ones here. All right. Because I got, just right off the bat, we've got Konosuke Takeshita, the reigning international champion. But then right behind him, we have Cope.
Cope.
We have got Chris Jericho and Brian Keith back to back. Look at that learning tree.
Oh, look at that. Hey,
we got
your boy. Got your boy, Swerve Strickland, and a nice shiny background there.
Yep. Let's see. I got Switchblade Jay White, Bryan Danielson, Jeff Jarrett, Julia Hart.
I love this one. I have a Samoa Joe with a Revolution logo. Our next pay-per-view coming up March 9th at Crypto.com Arena in LA.
Look at this. All right. How about shout out to the old Zebra team? I got Paul Turner.
Paul Turner. Man, my favorite guy. Look at that. I love it. Oh, man. I love opening these cards. It's so cool to look back and reminisce and see all my fun coworkers and all these fun poses. And now I have questions of where was Yuta signing this? Because it seems kind of rushed. So I imagine it's probably one of the last ones he did.
Yuta exclamation point. That's great.
We are joined by someone who I'm very excited to talk to today. Mr. Anthony Henry. How are you doing, buddy?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great. I, however, did not have a birthday recently, so happy birthday. How's it being?
Thank you.
Can we share how old you are? Because I had no idea.
I don't. I'm 41.
Right. I could have sworn you were early 30s. So screw you, buddy.
That's a good thing, though. I get that a lot. So I'm happy to have that be the case.
It's not fair. You men age so gracefully, and I'm just trying to hold on for dear life to whatever good skin I still have.
Good genes.
Right. I mean, you also spend a lot of time in the gym and whatnot. You're freaking shredded. So I want to talk a little bit about fitness routine and nutrition. Let's just, cause now I'm real interested cause I'm getting closer to 41. I got to start taking notes.
Sure. I'm a nerd. And a lot of people don't know that part of me is my degrees, which I have way too many of, I don't use any of. So I have 4 degrees.
What?
Yeah. I have 2 masters.
We got to get to that.
Hold on. That's next.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that could be a whole nother thing, but I have an associate's because I said I was going to get that first because when I had my daughter, I decided, I was going to do some good things with my life and make changes and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to get my associate's because if I go the 2 years and I get that, they can't take it away from me. But if I start a bachelor's and I don't go all the way through the 4 years, then I don't have anything to show for it. So I got that, and then I went back, got my bachelor's, and then I got a master's, and then I realized I wasn't really too happy with what I got my master's in, so I got a second master's.
Well, if you don't mind, what was the first master's in?
Public
What's the
health.
bachelor's in? I'm curious.
What's the associate's?
That's it was just in general studies. It was nothing in particular. And then I got my first master's in public health, which is kind of it's an all-encompassing medical field where it's epidemiology and things like that. Nothing I would ever do. And then so I went back and got my second master's, and that's kind of more in the related field of kinesiology. So it's basically a master's of science in
like weightlifting and how the body works and
essentially basically for me to be able to, if I wanted to train athletes and stuff like that, essentially like a CSCX, which is a certified strength and conditioning coach.
Damn, man.
And so again, everything always ties back to pro wrestling. So then that begs the question of essentially how that all came around into helping you as a professional wrestler.
So as most of us do, I guess I kind of started lifting because I was a wrestler, or like I wanted to be a wrestler. So that obviously started it. And then somewhere along the line, I guess it just became its own separate thing where like I was just obsessed with that part of it. So now I'm at a point where like if I didn't have the gym in my life, I'd be lost, because that's a big part of like what I do now. And so it has helped me tremendously over the years as I've gotten more and more and more into it, just with, image. And then also, of course, like general conditioning in the ring and stuff like that. And as we have, again, I've been in this a long time. So like the pace of what we do now is quickened a lot. And so if you can't go, then that's a problem. And I stress that so much with people that ask me about stuff like that. But so all of that's helped me along the way for sure.
Yeah, I always tell people when they're like, I want to become a referee. I'm like, okay, burpees and squats. And they don't believe me. And then once they try it, they're like, oh, it takes a lot to get up and down constantly throughout the match.
Yeah,
like, remember when I said burpees and squats? Like
one of my best friends is a referee, Chris Wiggins. And he's refs, like, so on indie shows, he's kind of been my ref. Like if I have a chance and the promoter lets me, I'll be like, I want him. And so he's guy. Yeah. And so he's used to doing my matches, but he's also like, he knows that there's going to be a lot of stuff going on and pins and such. And so he's like, he's always like drenched in sweat after the matches.
Oh yeah.
Up and down.
Well, so I want to kind of get to the biggin, as far as this conversation is concerned, because, at the end of the day, I think one of the big conversations surrounding you in 2024, of course, now coming into 2025, was your injury. And I kind of want to talk about how that came about and how your recovery was.
So 2024 was not kind to me. Obviously, it hasn't been kind to Drake, unfortunately. And it's weird because in the 22 years that I've done this, I've never really had a substantial injury. The closest thing I had to a real injury was when I herniated my disc at the other place in my neck. And but I had no time off. Like I went through the process of getting things done, but I wrestled the whole time through. So the first one, when I broke my jaw, like one of those things where I didn't think that my jaw was broken. It didn't hurt. I didn't even know what was going on. And then they're like, hey, you have this clean break in your jaw and you're out. And I didn't even know what to think. And then so like, fast forward however many months and I come back and everything's good. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited. And then, this happens. And again, one of those things where like, and if you watch the match, which I have several times, you can't really tell that it happens. But it's where there's a part of the match where I go and I dive out of the ring on the gay kid, and his back was turned to me, so kind of like fly over his back, and my arm goes kind of like over his shoulder, and I guess I catch myself on the ramp. And when I did that, I guess I kind of like did this number,
like hyperextended.
Yeah, and that popped the tendon right there, and it was a clean pop, like it was off the bone. But I didn't feel it. That's the weird thing is it's crazy. Neither one of my injuries, they didn't hurt, and this didn't hurt. And like all I knew was that like I looked down and it was kind of rolled up a little bit, like you've seen in those crazy gym videos.
Yeah.
Not all the way up, but I was pretty sure what it was, and it was kind of just cramping. And if you do watch the match, you will see me kind of like grabbing it. And I'm saying to the ref, I'm like, my arm, but we finished the match.
Damn.
And But yeah, we got to the back, and the doc there, he did like an ultrasound, and on the ultrasound, he was like, "Wait a minute, it looks like your arm is like it's still attached." So in my head, I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe I'm good. Hopefully, even though I can see that it's rolled up."
Whoops.
Then I go get the MRI, and of course, he's like, "Oh no, man, that thing is gone." And so then we had to go get surgery, and they had to basically like drill 2 holes in here, and then like loop it through these holes and to reattach the tendon. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just like, ugh. Like anytime I'm in a match where someone like tears a pec or a bicep or like any sort of arm tendon, and I think like Achilles tendon sort of work the same way, where you see that like rippling and then it does not have the same shape as it did previously.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that you said it like that and your jaw both didn't hurt. I think you need to go back to school, get another degree in whatever scientific research that needs to happen to figure out how to avoid pain, because like you could potentially be making some money, man. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. The people at the gym call me a mutant. They said I have the Wolverine mutant healing factor.
oh my God.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you
go ahead,
had, when you think about both the injuries and the injuries occurring in such a short amount of time, both of them, and the recovery occurring in that same amount of time. I mean, I think Wolverine is probably a pretty solid comparison for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, talk about the process in getting back.
For sure. First off, I got in the ring for the first time yesterday, just kind of playing around. So I just wanted to see what would happen with that, and nothing crazy. We were just like kind of like doing some, rolling around and chain wrestling and things like that. It was fine. So realistically, if I wanted to be in the ring right now and I was actually cleared, I'd be fine, I think. My
Every
strength
wrestler
is,
says that.
I'm pretty
For
confident.
you, I actually believe, but every other wrestler's like, yeah, I could be cleared right now, and it's like their leg's still falling off. Like,
Yeah, well, that would be Drake for sure. But no, yeah. So when it first happened, I had some atrophy, of course, and like that was the biggest part for me, because like again, being in the gym all the time, I'm like looking at my left arm and I'm like, ugh, it's disgusting to me, because it was just like so flat. And I kind of like went against my doctor's orders a little bit, and because of what I've done and the experiences I have, I'm not a dumb guy. I'm not going to go in there and hurt myself, but I did push the envelope a little bit because they didn't want me doing anything weight bearing. And but I started kind of working around with some lighter loads just to see what would happen and how it felt. And over time, I actually progressed that to the point where like I was slightly off on one side than the other. And now at this point, I'm pretty much at 100% strength on both sides. The only thing that I can't do currently all the way is supination, which is just, this is pronated, this is supinated, right? So this arm can do this completely, no problem.
right.
This side, I get now I can force it, and it doesn't hurt to force it,
Right.
but obviously you want to be able to do that, voluntarily. So that's the only thing.
For those
right
listening to the
now.
audio version, it's a twisting arm motion. Definitely watch the video version to see the actual full demonstration from our expert.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely also just YouTube quick supination what it is, but yeah,
Totally.
I mean, it's something most people don't think about doing, and it's pretty easy for everybody to do. You don't even think about it, but for me, especially when it first happened, like I would be in the car and everybody does this, right? When you're driving, the one arm deal,
Yeah.
and I would be like, oh, okay, or opening a doorknob. Oh,
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So things you don't even think about, you're like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. Like I'm going to be thinking about that the rest of the day. Like, what am I doing with my hands and whatnot? That's really fascinating, man. Like all we've done is talk about rehab, and there's so much more to talk about. We'll be coming up after a quick break, talking to Anthony Henry here on AEW Unrestricted.
AEW Unrestricted. It's Aubrey and Will. We are talking with one and only Anthony Henry.
Yo, this is fun.
Super fun.
Yes, super fun conversation. Although not so much fun. It's been, if anything, informative.
Talking about injuries.
Yeah, talking about injuries. It's been informative. In that, again, thinking about the emotions I haven't even had. But I will say that talking about fun, one of the most fun teams probably in the history of AEW
Yes.
has been the workhorseman. And
Agreed.
I want to talk a lot about JD Drake and the relationship with JD Drake and how
Sure.
that came to be. JD Drake is a lot to many people. I found out right around this point 2 years ago that man is like an expert bowler. And,
yeah.
And like very much takes bowling seriously.
Multiple 300 games.
Yes, and it one of the most insane things I've ever witnessed in person, seeing JD Drake bowl. But again, I want to ask you a little bit about the relationship with JD Drake. How did you two initially get paired up?
So first thing, I just want to, before I forget about this, because you mentioned the bowling, I don't know if you know this, but his girlfriend, they might as well be married at this point, she's actually a better bowler than him.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he conveniently did not mention that. So,
well, he'll tell you. I don't think he has a problem saying it. He's told me a million times, and they're both, avid bowlers on league, all that stuff. They go travel and do that sort of thing together. So, yeah. But as far as how we met, so we were kind of both like around the same areas, wrestling. I was doing a lot of stuff in North Carolina at the time because there was a very popular promotion called Pro Wrestling Experience. PWX in North Carolina was very popular, and at one point that was like my goal. It's funny to say that now, but like that was my goal, was to be there. And I started there in like 2012. I think he came in like 2016-ish. And when he first came in, we didn't really talk to each other, but I don't know that we liked each other, because it was like one of those things where like at the time I was actually like the top guy there. I was the champion and things like that. And he was coming in, but he had this attitude about himself like he does in the back. And everybody knows now that it's just him, and that's how he is. And
he's prickly.
But when you first meet a guy, you have no idea who he is, and just me being me, I don't have time for. That's the thing about me too. It's just I'm very no nonsense. Like I don't have time for attitude, and like I don't know. So the way he came off to me, I was just like, who the hell is this guy? Like I don't think I like him too much. And then he would hang around my wife, who was the valeting me at that time, and he purposely tried to piss me off and like go hang around her. And I'm like, so I mean, we were that for a while, and just kind of like, associates. But and then over time, we got a little bit closer, not necessarily friends, but we were a little closer. And then I started working with Evolve, and at the time, and Evolve came in to PWX to do a dual show, like a double header, and they needed somebody for their tag team champions to wrestle. And so the promoter decided, hey, we're just going to put you two together, because Drake had done a little bit with them. I had been working with them. They knew us. So they're like, okay. Then the promoter decided, hey, we're going to put you together, but also just to see what happens and get some buzz going in North Carolina, we're going to throw the belts on you. Yeah.
I love independent wrestling.
So the Workhorsemen were kind of, born off of this whole thing happening. The reason why we used the name Workhorsemen was because we had a whole group of us. There were like 12 of us, all in the same area again. And we called one of the other guys, Timmy the Ret, he's the one who started referring to us as the Workhorsemen, because it was just a play on words, workhorse. And he's like, obviously the four horsemen.
The horsemen.
So, so when that was the other thing, is like when we didn't have a team name, instead of being Drake and Henry, we were like, let's just use the group name as a joke, and it'll be one-off, so it doesn't matter. Well, it wasn't a one-off. So we won the match. Crowd goes crazy. It was a really cool moment, because the crowd's like literally up against the ring, going insane. And so the promoter was like, yeah. So I was going to take the belts off of you, because we had a show the next night in Atlanta. And he's like, but I think I kind of booked myself in a corner now. And so we kept the belts, and we became the Workhorsemen. And then that's how it was kind of born. And then, obviously over time we became closer and closer. And now he's one of my best friends. So there it is.
It's crazy when happens. Yeah, it's crazy how you can even think about the fact that friendship could have gone either direction. He could have been somebody that to this day you're just talking about how, man, that JD Drake guy, like hate his guts. But
Sure. And that's an easy guy that I could see some people like probably saying that if they don't really know him, but no, he's a great guy.
So I wanted to again talk about the chemistry you guys built together, and how do you guys go about maintaining that and keeping it fresh as a team?
We just have a lot of discussions, and it's like I am a person who is never okay with being where I'm at. Like, I'm a very goal oriented type of person. If I don't have a goal in life, I'm kind of lost. Like, that's just the way I am. It's like obsessive compulsive. Like, I'm always thinking about, how do we do better? How do we become a bigger deal? And that's obviously tough to do in a place like AEW, where there's so many people there, so many talented people there, and everybody can work. Everybody does their job well, or they wouldn't be there. But I think we have done a very good job at establishing a work rate that we uphold, regardless if it's a 3-minute match, a 5-minute match, a 10-minute match, if it's a multi-tag match. It doesn't matter. I think we've kind of shown that we can work with anybody on the roster, and whatever is wanted out of us, we can do. And it's not for us, it's going to be for the match and whatever we need to get over. And I think by doing that, that's been the biggest thing that's probably kept us having jobs, and just building that rapport with the locker room, where we're respected in the locker room and things like that. And those things are important. A lot of people don't think about that stuff because they're just like, about themselves. And I think we've been the opposite, and it's kind of helped us out a lot.
I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about working with you and JD is just, you guys are very no nonsense in your approach. It's like, this is the assignment we have today. This is how much time we have. We're going to put together an awesome match with these guys. And regardless of what style they may bring to the table or whatever. And It's like, there's so much drama in wrestling, and so many people are so concerned about little things that are out of their control. You guys are just very, for lack of a better word, you're very professional. And it's almost like a breath of fresh air in a lot of cases, where it's like, when I see you guys have a match, I'll just bug Paul Turner, like, hey, give me that one, because I don't want to have to worry about shit today. Like, this is going to be easy for me. Because
it's not to say that, like, obviously we have times where it's like, we get in our heads, and like
everyone does.
Yeah. Where are we at? Like, where do we want to be and things like that? But we don't have control over that directly. And we know that. It's like, all we can do is do the best at what our job is. And for right now, this is our job, and this is what we're going to do. And whatever they need us to do, we're going to do. And that's going to be our commitment to the promotion, right?
Hell yeah. Oh my God. I love this mindset. Like, this is perfect. And I wish, like, I hope anyone who's listening in, who is in the business, is like, this is great. Like, this is just, I love it. I love it so much. I feel like this podcast is like going in the opposite direction, where we started with rehab, and then we talked about how you joined up with JD. And I'd like to talk about how you got into wrestling.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I know you watched it with your dad as a kid, right?
Yeah. So, that's like the biggest thing, because like my father passed away a few years ago, and I wasn't I wasn't like especially close to him. We didn't have a great relationship, but it still hit me pretty hard. And the one thing that I always think about is that this whole life that I have, everything that I've done up until 41 years of age, really, he's responsible for, because my earliest memory of professional wrestling is with him. And it's like being 4 or 5 years old, yes, that young, like watching the first wrestler I honestly remember that kind of captivated me was actually Sting. So Surfer Sting, way back in the day, and so it was really cool that Drake and I actually got to work with him.
Dude.
In one of his last matches. And the biggest thing that like blew us away, like Drake was crying after the match. The biggest thing that blew us away about that was the fact that he was just so cool, and he was so thankful, and he loved the match. And I was just like, man, it was 5 minutes, and in those 5 minutes, he loved it so much. And that was like, man, there's nothing anybody could say to me. I don't care. And they can, all the people on the internet could say whatever. It's 5. I don't care that it was 5 minutes. It was a great 5 minutes. And it made everybody happy. So like, but yeah.
What a time that was too, like thinking about it, because that was in Sting and Darby's run up to becoming tag team champions. And,
Yeah.
That was in Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that? That was a year ago on the day we were recording, or we are recording this, because we just ran Charlotte. We just did. It was the first Collision of the year, and it was in Charlotte.
It was in Charlotte, yeah.
And then we just did first Collision of the year in Charlotte again.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure it was 1 year ago to the day.
That's great. That's crazy.
It's meant to be.
But just thinking about how that was in their run up to becoming tag team champions, and how you guys kind of got to be what you guys got to play a pivotal role in them getting toward the tag team titles. Ric Flair was out there with Charlotte, North Carolina. It was it was such a big deal for that, and that's really cool that you guys got to do that in that arena with.
Yeah, and that's another one of those things too. Like I was talking earlier, about building locker room rapport, right? And having the respect of the locker room, and that has always also played in our favor, because when we do have these matches, right, and they're like 3 minutes. 4 minutes, and where some people would get angry about that, Darby and Sting were like, let's make this a great 5 minutes. They didn't want to go out there and let's just be about us. And I think it has to do again with like they respected what we do and that we were going to do this for them. And it was, man, that's one of those moments that like I will for sure 100% keep forever in here. Like it was a great moment.
Damn. That's awesome. So watching wrestling with your dad, and then what was the thing that made it click like, oh, this is something that I'm going to try doing?
Well, I did like most kids do. And I had a bunch of friends that also liked wrestling a lot. And we got into some backyard stuff. I mean, actually pretty hardcore, because like we were filming everything. There were tapes and tapes, like so many tapes. I don't know where they are now, but of us just, in the backyard wrestling. We built makeshift rings, like out of various things, and changed characters. Like we had masked characters, and we would wrestle 5 times or something, and like we would just do different characters. And all this was on film. And, eventually in Augusta, not much going on, but we did find out that there was a school in Augusta. When I turned 18, we all went up there, me and my 2 friends. Not the best school, to be honest, but it got me in the door. And they had actually ended up quitting. I stayed, wrestled there for a while, realized I needed some more training. And so I kind of started asking around, and I found that AJ Styles was in, what is the city? Camellia, Georgia. Wildside, NWA Wildside was the promotion. That's where he was trained. And I went up there, and just on a Friday, because they were doing, they did like Friday shows, and then Saturdays were the tapings that they had.
Gotcha.
And so the Friday show was kind of like more for like, some of the people that were on TV were there, but it was for like people trying to get in the door. And I saw this, and it blew me away, because it was like Slim J and Azrael and these other guys. I don't know if you've heard of Azrael. He was very good too. Yeah. And then I came back the next week, and I started working there. Eventually I actually went to the point of just moving up there and training, kind of full time there, with Todd Sexton and Sal Renaro. And yeah, from there, it never stopped.
Damn.
Wow. Getting to have that experience with that talent, I think is something that's remarkable, and it's great that you got to have those kinds of stories for your career. And we've got a lot more to talk about with your career and how the path led you to AEW, and we'll be doing that right here when AEW Unrestricted continues.
Unrestricted.
AEW Unrestricted, Aubrey and Will talking to one half of the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry, looking real jacked despite being technically on the shelf, I guess. I mean, he says he's fine, so who knows? Who knows? This guy's got 4 degrees today. If he says he's fine. Like, that's all I know.
But we also know that few degrees, at least 2 of them, probably played a significant role in in getting that Jack.
Right.
Two of them. Yeah.
Two of them. The other two, whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay. As someone who has a degree that they don't use currently, like I totally feel you on that. It's like, what did I pay for? Oh my God.
Way too much money.
Oh, way too much money. Way too much money. Okay, so we're in wrestling. We're doing indies down in the Georgia area. I know you spent a little bit of time down in NXT, and then eventually ended up departing. And how did that whole thing lead to your AEW arrival? Tell us a little bit about what that part of your life.
Yeah, that was a kind of a whole wild ride because, okay, so I'm going to take this back a little bit further because some people don't know about this part. So I was working for Evolve. Again, we kind of established that. And towards the end of it, and honestly, the promoter Gabe, he actually told us at one point, he's like, when I hired you guys, talking about both Drake and I, I just thought you'd be two good hands. And now I'm kind of screwed because you're my top guys. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. So we worked our way up, and that's kind of been, I guess, the story of both of our careers is being the guys who nobody's like, whatever. And then oh, okay. They kind of rise to the occasion. But at the time, Evolve had started working with NXT, right? So they were, NXT talent was coming in to the shows and, that was definitely helping out with attendance. And then basically the NXT guys would wrestle Evolve guys. And then we worked up to the point where we did a Evolve show on the WWE network. And I was part of that.
Oh, we remember that.
Yeah. So that was a fun one. And then, nobody really knew where this was going. But then basically I came in for some NXT stuff. I was kind of, I guess, in essence, getting looked at, and guys like Austin Theory were kind of already there, getting in there and things like that. So I was like, okay, I kind of see where this is going. Evolve guys are kind of heading that way. And so I came to an NXT show, was supposed to do some work, and I was speaking to the doctors, and I was very honest with the doctors in answering questions, and I didn't realize that that's a thing you don't want to put out there per se. When it came
this is not a podcast about medical advice.
Yeah. But I'm not saying don't for sure, but I was just honest as I normally am. That's how I am. And the doctors was kind of became a little bit more suspect. It was like, oh, so you've been hit, you've had concussions. And I'm like, well, I'm a wrestler. Yes. I don't know many that haven't. I'm not saying that I have a history of it, but I've been hit for sure. And somehow that became, we don't want to use you. And now we're no longer interested in signing you. And also I get a call from Gabe the next day. And this is, I'm not, putting Gabe under the bus, throwing him under the bus or anything, but he did what he thought he had to do. And he's he calls me and he's telling me that, the situation, and this is what they said. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, obviously I'm let down, but then he hits me with, I don't think I can use you anymore either at Evolve because we're, doing this now, we're connected. And if I use you, then I don't want to be looked at as I'm using someone who is a liability, I guess. And he was beat up about it. He didn't want to, but I understood his position, I guess. He needed the job for there, of course. And it is what it is. And so at that point, I didn't even know if I wanted to wrestle. And that's also, you gotta also take into the fact that COVID hit right after this. So then COVID hits and there's no wrestling at all. And so I'm just hit with this news. COVID hits. I can't wrestle on indies. And I'm just kind of I don't even know. I'm going to do a few indie bookings when they started coming back. And that might be it. I was probably going to retire. I think I even put it out on social media. And then near the end of, when did I go in? 2020? at the end of that year, the previous year, basically, I get a phone call from Gabe, and Gabe's like, "Hey, so do you still want to retire?" And I'm like, "Depends. What are you asking me?"
You called me, sir.
And so he's like, "Would you want to come in and do the same for WWE?" And it's a tryout, but it wasn't really a tryout. It was basically you're getting signed. And I didn't even want to do it. I honestly wanted to be like, screw you. I don't care. I don't want to do it. My wife was like, nope, you should do it, because if you don't do it, you're going to beat yourself up. You're going to be really mad. Mm-hmm. And thanks to my wife, I did it. And yeah, it was a tryout, but it was really just a bunch of indie wrestlers. As long as we didn't do anything stupid or mess anything up, we were going to get signed. Now, I will say that out of I think 12 of us, only 4 of us ended up getting signed. But I was one of them. And so, yeah, then I moved to Florida.
Asher Hale was born.
Yeah, that name. That's which is funny, because that name's people. I remember when I came out with that name, and people were like, "Oh, WWE doing these names is crazy, man! Like, what do they do? How do they even make these things up?" And I'm like, "Well, first off, I did, because I wanted to keep my initials."
I had a feeling that was it. I was like, Asher Hale, Anthony Henry. All right, that sounds right.
Totally. And so I came up with that name, and they dug it, I guess, enough, and we did that. And I won't lie, it was a good experience. I can't say that it wasn't. Training there, learning there was fantastic. Obviously, the low point was the release that came later, which there's all kinds of stories about why that would have happened, but regardless, it came, and that was another big moment where I was like, again, depression, because that's I was here for 6 months, man, and
you move your entire life there.
Yeah, I did. I moved. My friends helped me move down there. I'm in this big house that I can only afford because of this job I have now, and they're like, "Hey, so you'll get paid for 30 days, and then after that, And I'm like, well, I have this lease, and what am I supposed to do? So I'm like, okay, well, I call my friends. I'm going to move back to Augusta, Georgia. And I think it was maybe a week before. And now I have the best friends, I'll be honest. They flew down to Orlando, Florida to help me put my stuff on a truck and help me drive back up to Augusta, Georgia.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So they came down, and I think QT Marshall had messaged me, and he was like, "Hey man, Tony wants to know when your non-compete is up." And I gave him the date, and the date happened to coincide exactly with the first Orlando taping that we were doing at the Universal Studios.
First in Orlando.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I don't know, because I'm supposed to be moving, but let me see what I can work out. I tell my friends, they're like, yeah, go, we'll take care of it. So they literally put everything on the truck while I was out wrestling. And I got the chance to wrestle Eddie Kingston, who I wrestled in Evolve, and we were good friends with. And that was another lucky situation where, again, locker room rapport, right? He went out his way to make sure to try to get me a job. He could have eaten me up because he was a star, but he did not do that. Instead, he gave me 80% of the match, sold for me, and Tony was very happy with it, I think. And from there, I've been here since. So crazy how things work out, but it was literally the day of my non-compete being up.
Well, let's I think, bring this back around to the future, which is, you're just coming off of this injury. Hopefully by the time people hear this, we'd be talking to a clear Anthony Henry. Fingers crossed.
Knock on all the wood.
What does that look like in your mind as far as this next phase of the career that is Anthony Henry's?
Yeah. So in a perfect world, okay, so I am a professional wrestler. No matter how much I want to contribute to the company in whatever role that I'm chosen to be in, of course, I'm going to do that. But I'd be lying if I said that I didn't want more for the Workhorsemen, because I know what we're capable of. I know that what we could be. I know that if we were given the opportunities, if they were allowed, if it opened up, that we could get over on TV, we could become bigger stars than we are, and we could absolutely hang with any tag team in the world. I have no problem saying that. I've always been confident in that. I've never been in the ring, nor has Drake been in the ring with anybody who we just felt out of place with. Nobody that we couldn't keep up with. And when we have people like Mox and Danielson and all these people behind us in the back, and FTR and all these people that like are behind us, like, to me, those are the people that I want to listen to, right? And those are the people that are definitely installing that confidence in us even further. So coming back, and when Drake comes back, I would love to just go on a run of having these matches with the best tag teams, and they are in AEW for sure. Have these matches and to show everybody what we really, really can do. Because honestly, as much as we have done, I feel like you've seen maybe 60% of it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh my God.
And that's just me being dead honest. I don't know how, that's just me, 100% me, authentically me. That's how I am. That's how I feel. So that's fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, man. And like, holy shit, this story today was about friendship, resilience, hard work, going into debt, education. There's so much good stuff that came out of this. And I've already hoped the world for you, but now even more so, I'm just going to be sitting in the back, like, fingers crossed, knocking on all the wood, like, let's friggin' go, man. Yeah. Like, I can't wait for you to be back. And I hope that by the time this episode drops, you are back and you and JD both can just, tear it up the way that you do.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I appreciate you guys having me on. And man, this was fun. Like, it went by so fast.
Yeah. So fast. Oh my God. So thank you, Anthony Henry. You can follow on Instagram and X at ANTNY Henry. AEW Unrestricted is sponsored in part by Upper Deck. Where's my logo? Boop, 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 boop. Collect your favorite wrestlers in the 2024 Upper Deck AEW. Start your trading card collection today. You can unwrap autographed memorabilia or premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. You can listen to and follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of the fun podcast apps, wherever you get your podcasts. Definitely watch the video version and learn what supinating your arm looks like. You can watch all the episodes of Unrestricted on YouTube channel, AEW Unrestricted. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And are you an AEW insider? Get early access to ticket pre-sales, special merchandise offers, and more. Straight to your inbox. Sign up today. Don't forget Dynamite, TBS, Wednesday nights, and streaming on Max. AEW Collision, live every Saturday on TNT, also streaming on Max. ROH streams every Thursday on Honor Club. I'm Aubrey Edwards with Will Washington. Thank you so much for listening to AEW Unrestricted.